John,
Yeah, I just went to your page to look for the link.
okay. Let me see. I want to make sure I have it public. We had that. Okay, it is public. All right. Let me split screen this real quick. YouTube. Is this one? Yes. Now how do I? Okay. There's a delay. Hello to whoever you are out there. Okay, wait a minute. Let me turn this down. Okay. But everything is posted. Okay, and I got a split screen so I can see all of the comments. All right, let's get to it. I want to thank everyone for jumping in on this live. If you get a chance to check it out later, that's fine. Drop a comment, let me know how you feel about it. Please like and subscribe and share. I'm trying to get that word, that verbiage correct. Alexa, volume 1. This is things that people don't want to talk about. Brought to you by God Level and my co-host John Skywalker. Before we move forward, let me throw up my disclaimer. We are not doctors. We are not therapists. We are not counselors. I said that we are spectators. I don't know how to feel about that, but I'm going to go with it. Okay. My name is Renee. I'm originally from St. Louis, Missouri. Down here in Houston, Texas. I am a mother. I am an entrepreneur. I am a friend. I'm an aunt. I am a sister, cousin, all of that. I am all things good. John, you want to go ahead and plug yourself?
Sure. John Nicholson here, aka John Skywalker, the Sly Talker, lyricist, spoken word artist, personal trainer, martial artist, lover of life, student of psychology, and father. If you love hip hop artists such as Common and Lupe Fiasco, you should stream both of my albums, Higher Dimensions and Dimensions, available on all streaming platforms now. Again, my name is John Skywalker, so you look up John Skywalker, Dimensions, or Higher Dimensions, or just look up John Skywalker. You'll find my albums. Also, I'm offering a 30-day superfoods detox package that will help you cleanse your body, lose weight, and put you on the path towards a healthier lifestyle. And if you've been struggling to, lose some body fat, build some muscle, manage some stress, or if you have a mental health condition that's preventing you from living your best life, I'm personally training. I'm taking clients right now, virtual training. Hit me up. I'll hook you up.
Okay. Music I was listening to in the background, that's him. That is him. Get
Bars.
It. Bars.
Barbarian.
Bars. All right. This topic is y'all ready? Toxic people create toxic relationships.
Mm-hmm.
Last week, I'm gonna have to go back to last week. We were talking about women predators, and an incident came out with me and my husband, and I have to realize I was toxic at that time, and many others. I think the hardest thing for anyone to do is to look in the mirror and see the truth of who they are. We want to throw on the hair, the makeup, and pretend to be someone that we're not, covering up who we truly are. And then one day, boom, it all comes out. And it did. I like to give out definitions. A toxic person is anyone whose behavior adds negativity and upset to your life. Many times people are toxic or dealing with their own stresses, and traumas. You always have to defend yourself to this person. You never really feel comfortable around them. You continually feel bad about yourself in their presence. And when you look this stuff up, there are levels to this. There are 10 types of toxic people: the gossiper, temperamental, the victim, self absorbed, the envious, the manipulator, the twisted, judgmental, arrogant, and I have no idea what I wrote down. Hold on, let me go back. Mm. Ooh, the dementor. That is sad. They suck through the room. The I got all of these from Forbes. So if you want to look that up, go right ahead. They give you a definition and meaning for all of them. Let me get back to our title: toxic people in a relationship. It's never going to work. It is never going to work. Period. You want to piggyback off of that?
Well, I think it depends on the severity of the toxicity, though.
None of my relationships work, John.
Mm.
None of them. Because I didn't see, because I was afraid to see who I truly was in those relationships.
And that's why we have relationships, right? So that we can know who we are.
Yeah. I always say that people in your life are there to teach you something about yourself. So all of my relationships have taught me something about myself. Yes, I have played the victim. Yes, I have played the manipulator. Yes, I have been very judgmental. I think I played a little bit of every last one of them, not all at the same time, but a little bit, you know. And that was due dealing with my own stresses and trauma that I had go on a long time ago. So when you have that, you're looking at that person, you're skeptical of everyone that's in your life, period. There is no trust there. You're always nervous. You're always waiting for the other shoe to drop. If you meet someone that is good to you, you're looking at them with one eye open and one eye closed, waiting for
You're cynical.
Oh my God, yes. You're waiting for the other shoe to drop. You know, the hardest thing for me was to look in the mirror and say, you know what, Renee, you fucked up. And it's time to do something about it. It really is. So in relationships, that toxic person, me, you are always self-conscious, insecure. Trust you don't trust them. Yet you try to cover it up. You know, you try to be what that person needs you to be while fighting who you are. Oh my God. Let me take a sip of water on that one. Oh my God. Go ahead, John.
Let's take it. Let me take a few steps back. Looking at your definition. Okay, so you defined a toxic person, right? So we usually understand a toxic person within the context of a relationship. So a fair way to define a toxic relationship as it relates to that toxic person is a relationship that makes you feel unsupported, misunderstood, demeaned, attacked, right? On a basic level, a relationship that diminishes your value rather than improves you or sustains you, maintains you. And it might be, it's progressive. It's usually progressive, right? You don't necessarily come across somebody and it's automatically toxic. I've conducted just like a short survey on this last week. And quite a few, a handful of people say, you don't usually know that relationship is toxic in the beginning because we put our best foot forward, right? So that's a natural human tendency.
You're meeting that person's representative in the
Mm-hmm.
beginning. You're never meeting who that person truly is. You're meeting that person's representative. That's it. The
Mm-hmm.
person that they want to be, and then slowly, truly,
Mm.
who they are starts to surface, and then you be looking at them like, well, you didn't act like that 6 months ago. You were dealing with that representative. You wasn't dealing with the realness of who that person is. Go ahead.
Mm. All right. So yeah, and you did list that um, one of the traits of a toxic person is that they are chronically, and that's something we need to distinguish. We'll touch on that briefly, or well, in a little bit. But
Mm-hmm.
if we're going to define a toxic person, we're looking for traits and behaviors that are chronic. They it can't just be one time because we're not
No,
perfect, right? We're not perfect
no.
in being honest. We're not perfect in being compassionate. We're not perfect in being empathetic. It is it's a process, and it's
Mm-hmm.
developmental, right? So um, I also wanted to identify that toxic behavior or toxic behaviors, toxic relationships, they exist in just about any context. So we're talking about from friendships to the boardroom to the warehouse to the bedroom to your family, right? The family cookout or whatever. Um, it can even just be in business. It can be in business as well.
Mm-hmm.
So I wanted to also distinguish between toxic behaviors and toxic people. So we are very complex. We are multi-dimensional, and the idea of labeling a person as toxic is a bit unfair, uh, because toxicity itself is often ill-defined. There's not much clarity there. You can just look at a behavior and just say, "Oh, that person's toxic," and you don't have enough information to say that that person is toxic. So, all right. Oh my gosh, women. The first time the nigga don't text you back, y'all been dating for like 2 weeks, and the first time this nigga don't text you back immediately because he's been on point texting you back. The first time, oh, I ain't got time for this. I ain't got time for this, and boom, don't even want to hear it. He's just wrong. Little did you
Toxic.
know, right? He's toxic. Just
Toxic.
label him toxic, right?
Yeah.
All at the same time. All at the same time. If they were to do the same thing, right? If they were to set the precedent of texting back and then they didn't text back, and then he calls them out on it, she gets defensive, right?
Right. Like I was.
Hypocrisy, toxic, right? So we have to be very careful and very clear about how we use this labeling of people, right? It's the same thing. It's the same thing when someone has a mental illness. When you start labeling people with a mental illness, okay.
We talked about this earlier.
Mm-hmm.
Toxic. The word toxicity is just a nice word for saying that. For me, my understanding, the person has a mental illness. Just the fact that it defines many people. What did it say? I'm gonna go back to it. Many times, people who are toxic are dealing with their own stresses and traumas. So their toxic behavior could be related to their trauma. I
You
just
said
wanted to
could
know
be.
that. Could be.
You said could be,
Could
right?
could be. Not in
If
all
I
cases, no. Not in all cases. I don't want to fight with you on this. Come
Yeah,
on.
because you know what I was
I
about to
want to fight
do.
with you in
Because
this.
most people would not know that I had a mental illness if they were dealing with me. They would not know. They wouldn't know.
Mm, I knew. It's
But
something
toxic people don't explain themselves as well as I do. So even
toxic
when
are hiding who they truly are.
right, but I
They're
have a
hiding.
mental illness, and I'm not afraid to say, hey, I have a mental illness. But I
Mm-hmm.
also don't excuse my behaviors for my
Okay.
mental illness. Toxic people excuse their behavior. and they could say, yeah, I have a mental illness, so you need to understand the fact that I have a mental illness, right? And it's like, I will do that, but I'm not going to, right? The manipulation aspect. So this is why I say we have to be careful, because people like me will get mislabeled. Oh, John's toxic because he has PTSD. Stay away from him. But then people in my circle will be like, yeah, he has PTSD, but I bet you he's a better friend than any of the ones that you got. But you wouldn't know because you already judged John before you actually got a chance to know what his toxicity looks like, since you see the label, hence label. So that's all I'm trying to do, is identify that there's behaviors, there's toxic behaviors, and there's toxic people. A toxic behavior is just one occurrence. It's acute. It's sharp. You see, like, let's just say, for example, being dishonest. We're not always honest with ourselves. We got to be real about that. I lie to myself sometimes too. You know, my ass don't look that fat in this dress. Okay. I don't do it all the time. I'm just saying this time it don't look that fat. Okay. John. See, John, now you're being an asshole. Now you're being an asshole, John. I didn't say nothing. Yeah, but your face said everything. Okay.
We do.
So for real, John,
it's real. It is real.
We lie to ourselves. Self-deception.
Reminded me of a conversation that I had with my therapist. You know, what happened to me at 8 years old, I had to make sense of. And that man sat there and told me, you've been lying to yourself ever since. So, you know, moving forward in relationships, toxic people and toxic behaviors, once their true nature comes out, that relationship starts to literally die off. They can no longer keep up with the front of being the representative. Their behavior, their true nature starts to show, and everything about that relationship starts to decline depending on the severity of their behavior. For me, all of them. All of them. I think you and I have been friends. How long have we been friends, John? 5 years now?
It's been a little bit longer than that.
Yeah. And I love the fact that you understand me. You're patient, you're kind, you can't, and you don't change. When people like myself who have those behaviors that are related to stresses and traumas, we have a hard time trusting those people around us. We really do. So to go back to the relationship part, there's you're going to constantly be defending yourself against that person. You're not going to feel comfortable around that person. You're going to constantly want to know what's next. You know, every day is always going to be something new with that person. That person is going to be looking at you with one eye open and one eye closed. The trust is not going to be there. The love is going to start to dwindle. The honesty will start to fall off. And slowly but surely you recognize that you two are literally, that space in between, that space is growing between you two to the point where next thing you know, either he's leaving or she's leaving in the relationship. And then that sourness kicks in. Go ahead. I'm sorry, I had to put that out there.
Oh no, you're good. You're good. So now I think it's fair that we kind of grace over into, like, oh my gosh, I hate to say this, but yeah. So when we're talking about toxic behaviors, we're talking about red flags, and you know, from what I've seen out there, everything could be a red flag. Everything could be a red flag.
Who came up with that shit?
I mean, no, it's been there. It's been there. And, you know, and there's an obsession with red flags. And that's not healthy in itself. You know, you got to have a balanced view, because what happens if you see a red flag, but then you saw 5 green flags? What you going to do?
Right.
You know, so I see all these red flags out there. It's like, all right, pessimist. Like, hey, it's cool to call out the red flags, but do you see any green ones? You see any green flags?
You're looking for the other shoe to drop. You're geared toward looking for the wrong instead of appreciating everything that is right.
Mm-hmm.
This man calls me every morning, takes out to dinner once a week.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if I ever need him, he will stop what he's doing and give me his undivided attention. Yeah, we don't look at what has happened in the past up until the present. We look at that one little thing that didn't go right, and all of a sudden we blew it out the water. Just like you said, oh, he didn't call back, he didn't text back. Oh, okay, yeah,
that one
we do
thing.
That one thing.
Red flag, big red flag. One big red flag. You got like 20 green flags behind that red flag, and this is the one. And perfectionism, and then we're hypocrites. We don't look. We don't even look at our own flags. We don't look at our own red flags. I ain't got no red flags.
No,
I ain't got no red flags.
We don't want to take accountability for the shit we do wrong. We want everybody else to be wrong.
Yep, it's everybody else, not us.
And that's and that's
so blaming, right? The blame game.
We blame
toxic people. Yep, toxic people do a lot of blaming, right? There's no shared responsibility. There's no personal accountability. Yeah, there's no personal accountability. There's no shared responsibility. Healthy people take their portion of the responsibility in their influence on the world, right? Well, just their influence, their influence. So they acknowledge, hey, I contributed to this. Right. I contributed this. You contributed this, which created this. Most people don't think like that. They say this happened because you did this, as if you weren't part of the situation. You had no influence, right? Mm-hmm. So that's why I say personal accountability isn't it's not the same as blaming people. It's not the same.
Right.
It's very different. Blaming is very negative, right? A personal accountability is very constructive. It's empowering. It's saying this is what went right. This is what went wrong. This is where I can improve. Right. It's personal accountability, and a lot of people don't understand that. People,
when you do a toxic person, they rather the victim. Yeah. It's your fault. 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 I didn't do anything wrong. You fucked up. Mm-hmm. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
And then there's the explaining away of their flaws. Well, I ain't perfect. You know, oversimplifying the fact that they're not perfect. You know, and yeah, we all inherently know that we're not perfect, but aren't we on the path perfecting? I'm perfecting. Don't affirm that you're not perfect. You know, affirm the fact that you are perfecting and that you're making strides towards it, not for anybody else, but for yourself. It's not even about anybody else. You're in this relationship, as we just stated, you're in these relationships to know yourself. And so the person is experiencing the side effects of you being yourself. So I affirm in myself, I'm a loving person. I'm an intelligent person. I'm a compassionate person. I'm an empathetic person. I'm an emotionally intelligent person. And so the way that I know that is first, I'm these things by myself independently. So who I am isn't contingent upon you. I'm not dependent on you for me to know these things about myself. It's just that when I'm in this relationship with you, it becomes realized. And I have a witness to reinforce what I already know to be true about myself. And so if I am off the mark, then I make the adjustment, right? Mm-hmm. So we're going to go into a few of these qualities because there's so many qualities out there. There's so many warning signs, right? But we want to remember, we are looking for trends. We are not looking for one piece of evidence of behavior. One is not enough. Just because he got you flowers today, baby, don't mean that he's a romantic. Just because he bought dinner one time doesn't mean that he got money, right?
ahead, John. I'm listening.
Just
This is
saying, he
for
does
you.
something one time, and all of a sudden you jump to conclusions. Women do that a lot. Jump, you losing weight,
People
jump into
do that a
conclusions.
lot.
All right, cool. Yeah, you're right. You're right. Correction.
People do
People
that a
do that.
lot. Don't.
People do that
Yeah.
a lot. All right.
Mm-hmm.
So, you mentioned earlier that one of the warning signs is that you feel like you're being manipulated into something you don't want to do. Um, erratic
That's
behavior. You
that's
know,
one of
you're constant.
the 10 types of toxic people is a manipulator. Yeah, go ahead.
Mhm. You constantly feel confused by their behavior, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because it's very erratic. They're unpredictable. They're inconsistent.
Mm.
Inconsistency. Oh gosh, I got something in my eye. Inconsistency is part of that. This is gonna look tacky. I'm sorry, y'all. You're constantly confused. Um, geez, you feel like you deserve an apology that never comes. Um, you never feel comfortable. You never feel fully comfortable around them, right? You feel like you're walking on eggshells because they're emotionally unstable. What else? Um,
You all
they
right?
won't take no for an answer. Yeah, yeah. You see, I'm still. I'm gonna be rubbing for a while.
Yeah.
They won't. Yeah, just all of a sudden, right? They won't
That's okay.
take no for an answer, which means that they don't respect boundaries.
Mm-hmm.
Um, they don't value your contributions. They
Mm-hmm.
take more than what they give, so they don't really value the relationship. You know, toxic people are generally takers, but you know they can be givers too. Toxic people can be givers, right? They give, but they don't give from a genuine place.
They give with expectation.
Boom! Oh, look at you! Look at
I'm
you!
just being honest. I give, and sometimes I give with expectations. Like if I
Just
do
to say,
this,
I did this for you, right? Yeah, I
you
did
know,
this for you.
um,
I.
I was a toxic person in my relationship with my ex-husband,
Hmm.
and maybe the last one too. You know what? The
Oh,
last one too.
yeah.
The last one too. Toxic.
Mm.
I am a giver. Um, and when I'm not,
Appreciate it.
that too. Um, Giving is a thing for me.
Hmm.
I like to see the person that I'm with happy. I'm always looking for ways to put a smile on their face.
Hmm.
Sometimes I can overextend myself because I'm being very, very expressive. Um, I'm gonna give you an example. The last one was we was watching it. I don't know what it was, and he seen a book, and he just said out loud, man, I want to read that book. I didn't say anything. I meant to noted it and went to work the next day, bought the book, kept the book, and gave it to him on his birthday. That is me. I'm starting to realize that I do things for people and I be expecting the same in return.
Mm.
Except when you do things for someone, you have to do it from the kindness of your heart and not expect anything in return. You have to do it because that's how you feel about that person, that you love that person, you care about that person, and you want to see that person happy. Go ahead.
Or there's something more. There's something deeper than that in your motivation. It's a little bit deeper, right?
To show him how much I care. Showing.
Well, yeah. But why make it about the other person? So let me give a more clear example. 98% of me sharing any of my gifts, my talents, willing
Mm-hmm.
to be an ear to somebody,
Mm-hmm.
it is about me. It's not necessarily about the person per se. So if I'm listening because I want to listen, not because I have to listen. I don't feel obligated to love a person. love a person because of that I am, and I know what the effect is going to be, right?
Yeah.
It's now sometimes it is a duty. Sometimes it is a duty, and I'm not in the mood, but I do it anyways because I understand that there's a need here, and I have the capacity and the abundance to satisfy it, right? But there is no, like you said, there's no expectation for them to give that to me. It's my philosophy that I believe in people and I have a higher purpose to maximize the happiness of others, because if other people are happy, then they will make other people happy and they will be their best selves. It doesn't necessarily have to be me because I can take care of myself. I have enough to take care of me. So I don't need you to do anything for me. If I love you, I don't need you to love me back. I don't need you to love me back. If I do this for you and you don't do it back, there's no attachment. There's no, oh, well, I did this for you. Why the fuck you ain't buy me no, right? There's none of that because I don't need it. I don't expect it. I did that because I saw an opportunity to invest in something that's bigger than myself that I believed in. I believed in that. And so it's coming from a genuine place. It's not about you, however. It's not about the person. It's coming from a genuine, I genuinely believe in this. And so when it goes, so it could be, all right, just not, well, I'm not gonna put her out there like that. If I do something, no, we're not doing it. If I do something, no, we're not gonna use that example. We're not gonna use that example.
No. Keep it real and raw. Go right ahead.
All right. Oh man. So I invested in my girl's her clothing line, right? But it was because she showed me something. She showed me something. I had the funds available. I had an abundance, right? And so like I said, I believe in people. I vote with my dollars. I vote with my time. I vote on people. Okay.
Right.
So when she showed me her concepts and she showed me her drive and she was researching this and this and this, I'm like, damn, look at that. Okay. I see what you're doing. All right. And then something else came, like, all right. And then when she got to her limit, it was like, it's just unfolding right before me, right? And I'm like, okay, I'm going to drop something. I'm going to drop something on this because I believe she's gotten this far without any help. And all she needed, she didn't ask. I just saw it as an opportunity to make this thing bigger because I believed in it. I believed in it. Now, whether it fails or not, I don't care. It was the fact that I believed in it enough to do this. So I'm doing it, and this is with everybody that I meet. I will do these things because you convinced me to believe in you. Because I also believe in myself. You don't have to believe in me, right?
Right.
So let's go ahead and that's a green flag. By the way, that's a green flag, people. That's a green flag. People genuinely believe in you without the expectation of a return. You don't have to flaunt or remind them that you did. You don't have to remind them that you did. They know. You know.
Hold on, and it brings back to the toxic person. A toxic person is looking and geared to see red flags. That's all. They're waking up looking for red flags.
The world's a dangerous place. The world's a dangerous place.
Yeah, and they are skeptical of people. They don't trust people.
Because they don't trust themselves. Right? So they're just projecting. They're egotistical, right? They're takers, so they believe other people are takers.
I'm not a taker.
They're self-centered.
I'm a giver.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Yet sometimes I give with expectations. I am a giver. Mm-hmm. But I don't trust people.
They're apathetic. Now, let me refresh. Let me refresh here. These things that I'm listing off, to be a toxic person, you don't have to have all these things. It could be a combination of things, right? Mm-hmm. So some people who are toxic, Yeah, some people who are toxic are not going to be egotistical. Some people who are
Mhm.
toxic aren't going to be inconsistent. You're going to have some consistent people or people who love routine and predictability, but they have other
Yeah.
toxic traits. They might be apathetic. They just don't care about how you feel or what you think. They don't care about your problems, right?
No.
They could be constantly disrespectful or
Mm.
rude, right?
Yeah.
We did say pessimistic and
Yeah,
cynical.
we
They
did.
violate boundaries. We talked about that.
Oh yeah.
They're drama.
They talk
Oh my
too
God,
much. They
drama
talk too
prone
much. I
people.
was just getting ready to say it. They talk too much. Talk too much and judgmental. They're always
Yes.
looking at someone with a screwed eye, like up and down. Women do it all the time to other women,
Mm,
but when you're a toxic person in a relationship, you're always looking at that person with the thought that they're going to do something to hurt you.
mm. The
So,
drama
and that never.
prone.
Mm-hmm.
They love conflict. They won't admit it, but they
Yeah.
love conflict. There's always
Mm-hmm.
something wrong. Always something
Okay.
wrong, which leads to them excessively complaining but never doing anything to remedy their situation. Um, they just can't seem to get out of it, but they're addicted to the complaining because it's, they're a victim, right?
Right.
Um, Substance abuse.
Yeah.
There sometimes, not all the time, but there's
Mm-hmm.
some sort of substance abuse involved. Um, Insecurity, we touched on that.
Yes, we did.
Now, codependency. I thought this one was a very unique one because,
Go
like I
ahead.
was telling you earlier, I
Mm-hmm.
was talking to my friend Lily about this,
Okay.
and she made the statement that she didn't think that codependent people were toxic, and I was like, all right, well, let me find out. Let me just make sure. And I found a very interesting one about parent-child relationships. Um, Parents can be codependent on their kids. And it's not necessarily codependent on their kids. They're codependent on a role. They're codependent on a role of a caretaker. So
Okay.
what ends up happening is because the parent is so attached to this label, this
Mm-hmm.
function of being a caretaker, it inhibits the emotional development and the psychological development of that
Okay.
child. And so um, codependent parents behave in a way that's going to prolong the needy state of these children. And so you have some adults who never leave their mom's side, or they always seek their mom's approval simply because
Mm-hmm.
their mom engineered them that way, or they socialized them that way so that they won't be independent. Mom is like, I need you to be like this. I need to be your caretaker because I need to feel important. You make me
Okay.
feel important. That's toxic, right? But
Okay.
that codependency also takes the form in like addict and caretaker type of relationships, or it could be enabler and caretaker, right? So the
Mm.
codependency is like they need each other. Both of these individuals, they're needy. They're both needy, but the
So you
needs
would
are different.
the parent created the environment. The child attached onto the environment. They're both needing each other. The parent
Hmm.
needs to take care of the child, and the child has not developed to the point where it can take care of itself. Okay. What does that look
Hmm.
like in a relationship?
Right? So it's usually like an addict. So someone in the all right, it's like the responsible and irresponsible one. These are like extremes, right? So you have someone who's very
Yeah.
reckless,
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
someone who irrational behavior. They're always getting into trouble. They can't.
Right.
They're always making a mess in life. They just can't get shit right. And you
And
have the
they need
partner.
that partner is their anchor.
Hmm.
That partner is their anchor. That partner is going to be there to accept their mess, fix
Hmm.
their
Clean it
mess,
up. Yep.
clean it up. Oh, you can't, oh, they
So
got
that
fucked
the
up
addict or the enabler can continue to do the
to
destruction
do.
that they.
Yeah,
Yes.
not that partner's not realizing you're enabling him by continuing to fix his his or her shit. Toxic.
Hmm.
That's that codependency. They need to
Hmm.
feel that, and that person that's fixing that shit needs to feel needed.
Mm-hmm.
They need to feel needed.
They need to feel important. Then the other person feels the need to have somebody to take care of them as well. It's just on a different level. So they need each other to take each other. Yeah, that's toxic, right? So obsessive neediness. That's a key ingredient here. Obsessive. It is obsessive. It is compulsive neediness. Sometimes we are a little needy. It's okay to be needy sometimes, right? That's not a toxic.
In certain areas,
but
just a little.
But if it is constantly putting a strain on your attention, your energy, your resources, your time, it's toxic. You should be able to do some shit on your own, right? Toxic people are also pretty denial prone.
The way that was my mother and my stepfather. The codependency. He need her. Oh my God. God rest her soul. Please excuse me. But he was the F up. He was the fuck up. And she would come along and clean his shit up and they would move forward. So that was that codependency. I seen that growing up. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I wanted to read a couple of comments from Cuzzo on your page. Okay. He said toxic people come with a bag. Yeah. I
don't see nothing.
Toxic people. Well, it's on my page then. It's on my page. He says that toxic people come with a bag that says life or death written on it. Toxic people also have a chemical compound called control issues. So yeah, that's an element. Control. You
want to control everything around you. We touched on that last week. Being in control with everything around you to prevent yourself from being hurt or just being a manipulator. Having control, knowing, oh wow. What's his name again?
His name was Cuzzo. Yeah.
Oh my God. I did not see that.
Yeah. They're denial. They're prone to denial. They won't admit when they're wrong. They won't apologize. They won't take any personal accountability.
No.
So they will deny. No, it's not me. It's you. It's not me. It's you. Right. Rationalize this. They steal. They plagiarize. They gaslight and they ghost. They belittle and they bully. Right. We can keep going, but
what it looks like in a relationship is an unhealthy relationship. That is the end result. An unhealthy relationship
where there's no value. There's no value there.
No growth.
Yeah, no growth. No growth. No value. You feel less.
Then a lot of negativity.
You don't feel encouraged. Yeah, you don't feel supported. Right. So
not empowered.
You can you can gauge that relationship by asking. Just taking a temperature, just taking a pulse of the relationship and just asking yourself, generally speaking, I'm looking at the whole span of the relationship. Generally speaking, how do I feel personally about myself? Right? And is my partner a reflection of something that's wrong with me? Because if you were healthy, you're not going to indulge in this toxic behavior from somebody else, knowing that you love yourself as much as you do. You love yourself so much. And I just said this to Lily too. You can love yourself so much that you won't talk to a person, knowing that they're going to say, oh, you're disloyal, you're fake. Like, yeah, but your opinion is not valuable to me. So you can call me what you want. I got 25 people that's going to say, nah, it's not a fact.
Oh, yeah. That's going to disagree with you. Oh, yeah.
One person, and it's like, yeah, man, that's not facts. That's alternative facts, right? So the opinion of one person in this relationship, you got 20, and this is another trait, right? Toxic people will also keep you isolated from your network. Control, power. Oh, you can't hang out with them. Man, they bad influences. Why the fuck you hang out with them? No, if you ain't going, you only need to hang out with me. Only hang out with me. Don't hang out with them.
They're
Spend time
not
with
giving you
me.
the freedom to be you. They're not giving
Oppressive.
you the freedom to, ooh.
It's oppressive, right? They're oppressive, and so they're oppressed, and so they're oppressing you. It's projection.
So a
So
lot of toxic behaviors, we can say that are coming from the toxic person, all they're doing is projecting how they truly feel off onto you. That's it. So before you get with somebody, find out how they feel about themselves. That is very important.
that's the question you can ask within the first 30
Yeah.
days of dating a
How
person.
do you feel about yourself? Oh Lord, a new message that came through. Who is this? Hold on.
They are gods of narcissistic behavior. You are doomed if you don't run away. Not walk, but run away. So
Cuzzo is
right.
he we'll speak on him later. But go ahead. There are gods of narcotic behavior.
Yeah. We all have a stint of narcissism in us. That's just
Yeah.
how we're designed, because it's part of our basic need to self-preserve, right? But there is a healthy way of getting our needs met without having to impose on the needs and the freedoms of other people. There's a way of doing that, right? So relationships are about establishing harmony. So what we're saying is a toxic relationship lacks harmony.
Yeah.
It lacks harmony. There is a
Very
power
well.
dynamic. Yes, there's an imbalance of power, right? So he recommended that you not only you don't walk away, you run away. I would say that there's an escalation tactic that you can take here, though. So the first point, and I kind of had a similar incident that just had that happened recently, right? Related to this. So you can enforce stricter boundaries, okay? Because remember, toxic people don't really respect boundaries. So you can create a test. All right, let me reinforce my boundaries. Let me make them stronger, right? And if they pop, they trying to break that down, then you confront them. You call them out on any lies or any inconsistencies, right? You tell them how you don't appreciate how they're behaving, and this shows that you're paying attention, and that you're asserting yourself, and that you care about yourself, and that you love yourself. But you're also giving them an opportunity to not only explain themselves, hence take accountability, but you are also giving them the opportunity to adjust if they value the relationship, or to determine or dictate their value for the relationship. Now, they could reverse the roles on you and say, oh, well, you're the one in power and you're making it seem like I'm the bully when you're the bully, because you're giving me an ultimatum. You're giving me an ultimatum.
The twisted.
And you're not understanding me, right? So you gotta check you gotta make sure you check yourself too. It's like, well, how am I bullying you, right? Explain that to me. How am I bullying you? Now, a rational human being will be able to determine, like, okay, I'm not bullying you. You're just insecure. And because you're so insecure, me holding you accountable feels like an attack. You feel attacked because you're not strong within yourself. It's not me, it's you. Right? But again, oh, you're gaslighting me, John. How am I gaslighting you? I'm asking you to explain this behavior. Let's forget what I'm doing for a moment. Let's just focus on the fact that you did this to me. Explain why you did that to me. What did I do to you? And then they avoid or they deny that. I didn't do what, but you did. Oh, you can't explain it? Oh, but you can explain mine away, huh? But you can't explain yours? Are you really self-aware? Are you woke?
Right.
Are you awake? Okay, you're not awake. So, boundaries, stricter boundaries. right?
Okay.
Boom, wall is up. They say, bow, kick down the door, fuck that wall. And then you confront them and say, yo, I don't respect the fact that you just kicked down my wall. I worked really hard to build that wall.
Right.
Now they don't respect your boundaries. You've confronted them. They're like, nah, I ain't trying to hear it. Then you can, fast from them. You can start a no contact campaign. You can, ultimately remove them from your circle if you have to.
You can't fix them.
Right. You're not trying to fix them. You're not trying to.
A toxic person is they live in denial that it's going to always be the other person and not them. A toxic person is going to be really hard for them to look in the mirror and see who they are. A toxic person would rather put the blame on everybody else except themselves. A toxic person would rather play the victim. A toxic person is going to throw those temper tantrums. A toxic person needs to go sit down and get them some help. They need to come to the realization of who they are. That's it.
They gotta want to help themselves. Yeah, they gotta want to help themselves. But it. Just understanding, we have to understand our responsibility. Again, when you're in relationships with people, you have to evaluate their values. So let's just say, for example, when we're dating people, we ask very shallow questions that don't really mean shit.
Example.
Right? What's your zodiac? What's your ring size? What's your shoe size? What's your dress size?
And then I throw in a question like this: where do you see yourself in 5 years? I throw in questions like that, and if I don't get a good answer, I know that this is a person that I can't talk to. If you don't have a plan for yourself for the next 5 years, and you just living, just living.
Okay, but there's some wiggle room with that. There's some wiggle room with that.
That's a no. What is it? What is a term that people use? I can't think of it right now. I ain't gonna say red flag.
Renee, I'm gonna be honest. If you were to ask me that question back in 2014, I would tell you I don't even know if I was gonna make it to the end of the year.
Damn. Okay, that's something totally different.
How is that different?
Because you told us you're not gonna make it to the end of the year, meaning what's going on with you that you feel like that you're gonna make it to the end of the year. Like that will prompt me to ask you more questions. Literally. That really would prompt me. What you can't question such a person. I'm sorry, this is Cuzzo again. You can't question such a person. Each of them have a level of confinement. And if you in the corner by any means, you could get hurt or even killed. It's best to leave because you can't control them once they snap. Just pay attention to the news lately. All of them women getting murdered for such that causes. Is there something else to this? Is there another piece? Is he done?
Yeah. So, but I know what he's saying. He's talking about the extreme cases. Now, this is why I wanted to kind of discuss the continuum of toxicity, okay? Because again, people exhibit toxic behaviors, and then there's toxic people, all right? Toxic behaviors, toxic people. Some people actually can detoxify themselves.
Oh, absolutely.
Again, right? So we have to include them.
Yes, a toxic person can change.
So we have to assess. Yeah, we have to assess how severe their toxicity is.
Yeah, they can change only when they recognize who they are and what they're doing, their behaviors, and take accountability, and then look in the mirror and say, you know what, I want to be known for being that type of person.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and then change within themselves. They can't look, them got killed by toxic men.
Mm-hmm.
Huh. Is this going on in St. Louis, Cuzzo? Because wait a minute, he's from Houston. Cuzzo, I think Cuzzo is from Houston. All the women got killed by toxic men. Okay, where was I at? I'm sorry. I forgot. Where was I at? Where was I at? Toxic people can change only when they recognize that they are fucked up.
Right. Yeah. Only when they recognize. Yeah.
Only when they recognize it, not when someone else recognizes it, because they're not going to accept what anybody else has said. They're going to continue to play the blame game and be the victim. Only when they recognize it, then they can change. Other than that, they're going to be who they are and move on to the next person, and the next one, and the next person, and the next person, and the next person, and all their stories are going to be the same. It was they fault, they fault, they fault, they fault, they fault. I didn't have anything to do with it. I was good in the relationship. I was going to make themselves out to be the better person, when in actuality, they're the ones that are fucked. My fault. I was sleeping. This is my ex-husband. Oh, should we have that conversation now?
It's up to you. We're pretty much. I mean, we got to the solution of it. So
we did.
You know, those are the three big solutions. Start. You know, have levels, because again, people can grow, folks. People can grow. People can change. People can evolve if you give them the opportunity, right? And for some people, this isn't mandatory. By the way, this isn't a mandatory prescription. Use at your own discretion. You'll know what you can tolerate and what you can't. Me personally, I'm going to give you a chance. Right? Because I know me, and
I know you too.
Yeah, I know me. So it's like, all right, look.
Consistency.
Papa John, I'm putting on my Papa hat. All right. Boundary. Reinforce. You broke that down. Okay, I'm going to confront you about that. Oh, you still want to act like a bitch? Okay, boom, block, done. We're done. We're done. I forgive you, though. But, yep, we're done.
Your walk-away game is cold.
Oh, whew. But you know how warm I can be, right?
Yes.
I'm real warm.
Your walk-away game is cold. When I was talking to you, and I'm not trying to bring up your business. You mind if I talk about your last relationship?
Go ahead.
When Renee was leaving, and you was like, "Oh yeah, you can have that, you can have that, you can have that," and as she was walking out the door, an hour later, you had new furniture coming in. Like, you ain't hurt me. I was like, damn.
Oh man.
Oh yeah, you okay?
I was ready, man.
An hour later, new furniture, new pictures, new everything.
Mind y'all, you know, we ended the relationship, like we made it official at the end of May, and then by the end of June she was out. So I had, you know, I was planning like, boom, okay, this is gonna happen, this is gonna happen, this is gonna happen, ordered this, gonna replace this, you know. So by the end of the summer, I had everything that I wanted in my house, everything that I wanted to do, because I was ready to get out the relationship. So that's how we make the distinction, okay? If I don't feel appreciated in the relationship, if I feel less than, I'm ready to get out that relationship. I'm willing to give you a chance to make the adjustment, because I know I have accountability. Like my personal philosophy, I'm going to love you better. Like, I'm in a competition to love you better than you can love me. You don't have to. But the reason why I do this, it's not a defense mechanism. It's not sourced in any guilt, pain. The idea is, if I fuck with you, I've made the determination to say, you deserve the best of me, and I'm going to be myself with you. But when I start feeling like, oh, I'm losing value in being in a relationship with you, I start pulling back a little bit. Like,
keep going.
And then, right. And then when I'm by myself and I realize, ooh, I'm happier without you, that's not a good sign. Let me come back. Yep, got a confirmation. Let's try this one more time. Come back in. Yep, I still feel devalued. Hence, I'm going to confront them about that. It's going to be real sharp because it's like, yo, don't bring it out me. Don't bring you. Do you know how much I've loved you? Like, you want to bring out the balance sheet? Let's go. Let's go back to October 2017. Yeah, you was in debt 2 years before that. We didn't have to do that. We didn't have to do it. You did it. I was fine. Like, I had that in the back. I didn't have to bring out the balance sheet. You wanted me to bring out the balance sheet. Hence, I loved you. You're indebted to me. But guess what? I'll forgive the debt as long as you let me terminate this relationship.
Damn.
I'll forgive the debt as long as I can terminate this relationship. And guess what? I'm going to get my way. So terminate the relationship, debt forgiven. I don't owe you anything. You don't owe me anything. And I'm happier now.
Oh, wow.
That's why I can be so cold. Oh, wow. But I was so warm in the beginning.
Oh, wow. I can honestly say that all of you upgrade like all of your women. So, and I ain't gonna even like when Renee did what she did. I thought to myself, like, I don't think she realized how good she got it. Like, I'm quite sure she hasn't met a man that's half of you. You came through the door showing her who you was. She couldn't accept that, and you know, wow, you. Oh my God, that would have been perfect. But now you have Toya, so I'm looking forward to dancing you all's wedding. I keep putting that out there, you know. But yeah, you've upgraded all of your women. I know in 5-10 years they're gonna look back like, man, that was honestly the best thing I ever had. You know, but I was too full of myself to even see it. I was dealing with my trauma, and I was still broken in certain areas within me. I couldn't see it, that I had a damn good man by my side. I couldn't see it. You're not a cheater. You're not a whore. I'm your best friend. I would know these things. I'm sorry.
Right. You would know. Yeah, you would know.
I would know. You know,
yeah,
so I'm
John
not
don't be out in these streets.
You don't be out in these streets like that. So yeah, I'm just like, I know.
Gotta be cautious, man. You gotta be cautious out here in these streets. Yeah, you gotta be cautious. So, because there's so much toxicity out there, and you know, we gotta wrap it up, right? But, it comes down to this. It really comes down to this, guys. If you truly love yourself, if you truly care about you, we're not talking about selfishness. You truly love yourself. You have boundaries, you have standards, and they're not so high as to people don't have access to you at all. It's just that you have qualifications. There's certain rules that people have to follow in order to be in a relationship with you.
Time out. Did you read this shit? How much water can you put on a chemical to make it pure? Toxic people can't change. I don't like negative people. Toxic people can't change. It's like planting a seed and growing a tree of bad fruit. You have to literally burn that tree down and reroot it and plant another seed from a pure tree. It's impossible. You know what? You're toxic, Cuzzo. Cuzzo, you are fucking toxic. I'm sorry. And I be seeing I did not want to say anything, but I be seeing your damn post on my page like you are really looking for some goddamn attention. I don't even know to call you. Why would you put that shit up there? That is not positive. Toxic people can't change. Don't you go look in the mirror, please, and see the truth of who you are. This is some bullshit. That is not positive at all. We're saying that people can change. And you talking about some toxic people can't change. What has happened to you in your life to make you think and feel that way? That's something that you need to deal with. I'm not your counselor. I'm not your doctor. I'm not your therapist. But I tell you what, you need to go get one. I'm sorry, John.
Oh, yeah. I understand. I
Sorry.
understand.
I don't
Yeah,
like
you confronted him.
that's not
Yeah,
positive. That is not positive
he
at
could
all.
he could ask a fair question though. I mean, hey, I mean if that's what he
He can
thinks, that's what he
ask, but
thinks.
yeah, but don't put this shit up there. Toxic people can't change.
Well, I mean, yeah, if that's what he believes,
That's
I,
that's what he believes. Don't
yeah,
well,
that
that's
exactly.
not
I'm like,
what.
I'm optimistic, so I'm like, all right, if you
Thank
believe that
you.
toxic people
Yeah,
can't
I'm sorry
change,
you feel. I'm
that's what
sorry
I'm
you feel
saying.
that way because
But this is but
I'm sorry
this
you
is
feel
what it
that
looks
way
like.
because
This is what it looks like, right? He can
toxic.
believe that way if he wants to, right? And
Toxic.
I'm gonna put it out there, give you an opportunity to question, like, because here it is. I'm gonna give you an opportunity to interrogate it, investigate it, to interview it, to figure out what it is that I'm trying to offer you here. And of course, you're
Mhm.
offering me. I have a lot of objections to that. I can just ask a few questions, and then that'll weaken your whole argument, right? But
Right. Right.
but it's not about that. If that's what he believes, he's able to have that belief, right? However,
I'm speaking on toxic people. Now you call me toxic. LOL. We talking about your topic. Wow. I'm,
you know what? You know what? Let's be fair. Let's be fair. Let's be fair. We
let's
just
be
came
okay,
across.
God.
Hold on. He gave us an idea, a belief, right?
His
And
belief.
right, and it's his.
Okay.
He can have that, right?
Okay.
But just
Yeah.
because that's his stance doesn't mean that we have to say that he's wrong, or we don't have to label him toxic,
And
do
I'm
we?
only doing so because of his past history with the comments that
Oh,
he.
okay. So you oh wow.
This
Okay,
is
so
this is
then
yeah. This is
boom.
not just yeah. This ain't just one comment that he has made. I can
All
write
right.
something on Facebook and then he'll come up and put up this whole. And I'm just like, he
All right.
has a lot of time.
So you
Okay.
call him, yes. So you're not calling him toxic for this. You're actually calling him toxic, considering the pattern. He has a pattern. Okay.
Yes. Yes. That's it.
All right.
I got the receipt.
So
You are showing your toxic behavior on your own. But he
I
just
mean, she
wants
did look, bro. I mean, she did admit
to.
earlier in the show that she did admit that you probably just came late. She already admitted that in the beginning.
Can a man
Yeah, you
have
can. Yes, you can have an option, bro. I'm going to say it. I love myself enough to let you have that option, but I don't have to agree with it. I can challenge it too, and it's your
absolutely.
responsibility to give me the burden of proof. So you can have that. However, it's easily challengeable. Like there's only two objections we have to have here. All we need is just one. I just gave one today, just not too long ago in this dialogue, right?
Hmm.
So the whole point here is whether you believe that a toxic person can become healthy, that's just up to you. That's yeah. All right. And that's yeah, personal experience is very anecdotal. That's called anecdotal evidence. Anecdotal evidence cannot be applied generally speaking. If you have a personal experience, you can't apply that to everybody. Personal experiences cannot be applied to all experiences, right? I have some personal experiences. I can't apply that to everybody. I'm very aware of that. So you can say, based on your experience, you have not seen toxic people or the toxic people you've come in contact with. You have not seen that they are able to revolutionize, to change, to adapt, to be accountable. You have not seen it. So that's cool. That is very valid. But that is just you're just one person, right? But
Right.
there are examples out there that you haven't been exposed to that
Hmm.
maybe you need to be exposed to so that you could
Right.
have hope that toxic people can
Thank you.
change, evolve, grow,
Absolutely.
right? And because we're
Absolutely.
talking about the human condition, people, we're talking about the human condition to doom somebody as toxic and say that they will never change. That's
Right. That's
come on now.
that's
We have been growing as a species for centuries, for decades, for millennium, or millennia, not millennium, millennia,
mm, I
right?
know what you mean.
So,
Keep
right. So it's not a bad thing to have optimism as long as it's founded in realism. You can be optimistic that toxic people can change, but in your present experience, when you're dealing with somebody, one person, doesn't matter who it is, you're dealing with one person, you're giving them an opportunity. All you have to do is do your part, give them the opportunity. You know, if you gave them that opportunity, make them aware of it and say, hey, I'm giving you the opportunity to take accountability for your actions. And if they still are resistant towards that, all right, then we take your advice, cuzzo. You leave them alone. You leave them be. But if you come across the next person and you do that same thing, and all they needed was an opportunity to change because they have faith in you.
That's
They
it.
believed in you. They trusted you. It was you. Okay.
Thank you.
With all the other people, they tried to make that woman change. But then when you provided them the loving opportunity for them to evolve and grow with you, right? They do that with you. And all it was, and so suddenly this flower that was sick starts to heal because you nurtured it properly. It was open to being nurtured. It has the right sunlight. It has the cleaner air because that flower couldn't grow, that tree couldn't grow in this toxic environment over here. Yeah, of course it's not going to grow. Of course you have to destroy it.
Tell them back.
But here with John, you got the opportunity to grow because you trusted me. You have faith in me, but you also have faith in yourself as a result. And so it isn't about me, it's about you. And so you end up growing and evolving, and then you're not as toxic as you used to be.
There it is.
So that's why I advise take discretion. You don't have to treat everybody the same when it comes to dealing with the remedy and toxic people. You don't have to automatically cut them off. You can give them a chance, or you can have a stricter boundary, and then it's like boom, you protected yourself. They cross that, right? You confront them. If you confront them and then they're like, all right, you know what, man, I just need to think about it. And they think about it and they say, all right, man, I'm ready to change. Of course, change is a process. It's not going to be immediate, right?
It's not going to be overnight.
They're going to take a few steps back. They're going to come forward, back, forward, back, forward. Next thing you know, they're not the same person or same toxic person as, that last encounter. And then they actually grow out their toxicity and they detoxify.
I apologize for coming and feeling you from the truth of my heart. That's exactly what I'm getting ready to do, young man. We're doing an excellent job, Judgment. Oh, so nice.
All right, bro. All right, man. Yeah. No worries. No harm done. No offense. So, that was we had a real live experience right there. We had a real thing right there. Conflict resolution in real time. All right, so we can go ahead and close it out. We close out with a real live, because it's all love. You just end with love, okay? Always end with love. Always end with love.
What? I felt some kind of way. I felt attacked.
I felt a challenge, but I know me.
And
I know, but I also know I don't know him. I don't know him. So,
but yeah, he jumps on my page all the time. So I got to the point where I just delete his comments and just keep going. Like I will post up something and he will come and leave a whole paragraph, and I just got to the point where I just delete it because sometimes it comes as he's looking for attention, and I'm sorry. My mind is somewhere else. So I want to thank everyone for jumping in on this live. I see we had a lot of watchers tonight. Thank you for that little snap off at the end. I'm still learning, baby. I'm still growing.
Yeah. Toy over there laughing.
Evolving. What's she say? Toy over there laughing. Hey, T-Boo. Hey, T-Boo.
Always end in love, y'all. Always end in love.
Love and light, I'm not gonna.
I don't have. Yeah, you don't have to disrespect somebody just because they challenge you. You can just be like, all
I
right,
was
if that's how you
disrespectful.
feel. No,
I was.
no, no, no. I'm not saying. I'm just
Oh,
putting that. Yeah, you don't have to. You don't. What did I say in self mastery?
I think
Every
don't
negative
need a
comment don't
reply.
need a reply.
Don't need a reply.
Wisdom, baby.
I'm still learning. I'm still learning, but I was
Yeah.
that just kind of
Triggered.
it triggered what I was already feeling some kind of like prior to. So for this to happen, it just kind of like So yeah,
Mhm.
whatever. All right. I want to thank everyone for coming in on this live. We will see you all back here again next Sunday at 7:00. Probably 7:30 because I got to work. I got to work till 6, and it takes about 45 minutes to get home. So I don't know. You know what? We have to come up with another topic. Dealing with toxic people.
Well, I mean, we did. We got the three big
We
ones.
got to put him in a topic. I'm sorry. It's okay to take constructive criticism or share your experience. It is okay for people to have their own opinion. We'll talk about this later. We'll go more in depth later. But thank you again, y'all. Mwah.
Mhm.
Bye.